It's a 9:24 right now. I want to make you aware of some breaking and developing news that we are working on here in the 24-hour News 8 newsroom. Word of a shooting situation at Noblesville Middle School.
An hour and 1 minute ago, when we first got word of this, Brittany Lewis was in our newsroom and was one of the first person who said, I will go, send me up to Noblesville.
Brittany, where are you?
Hey, Scott, I am just outside of Noblesville Middle School. I want to just get out of the way and show you what's going on here right now. At this very moment, what I've been seeing is you can see these SWAT officers, at least officers wearing tactical gear. They've kind of been jogging out here toward their cars. I'm not really sure if that means there's something going on or what the reason is. You can see right now they're actually hopping into their cars. There are squad cars here from all over central Indiana. You can see they have Carmel police, Noblesville police, obviously, police from all over. They've been blocking the roads to and from the middle school. But you can see right now there's a bunch of activity going on. I'm trying to figure out what exactly is happening, but you can see here they're leaving in a hurry. They're actually asking us to get out of the way, which is what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, by all means,
you guys, I'm going
to
to try to figure out what's going on here, and I'm going to get back to you as soon as I can.
All right, not at all surprising there that a special weapons and tactics team would move somewhere with great alacrity. We don't know what they're doing just yet. Carmel police following them as well. Oftentimes in a county, you will have these teams put together not just from one jurisdiction, so it might not just be Noblesville police. You might have a police officer from Carmel, Noblesville, working alongside deputies from the Sheriff's Department, state troopers as well. And there are things to follow up on here that go beyond those four scenes that we mentioned. I might suggest a fifth scene, which would be the county jail or wherever the Sheriff's Department is working out of, because if someone's in custody, as has been indicated by the state police, there are some answers that person has to give right now.
And they're not, the emergency crews are not necessarily going to give us the information just yet. They're going to get a situation under control. And so while we can try to cover it at the same time, you know what, Brittany, who do you have with you there?
Sixth grader and an eighth grader that go here.
Hi there, Lauren. I have Chad here. He has a student here that goes here at the middle school. First of all, so sorry. Can't imagine what you're going through just hearing the news that there's been an active shooter situation at your child's school. Tell me how you found out, how quickly you got here.
Well, my ex-wife called me and she was hysterical and couldn't even talk, and I had to calm her down and what's going on, and all she said was there was a shooting at my kid's school, and that my daughter called her while it was happening from underneath her desk, and it sounded like it was coming from another hallway, and my ex-wife just told her, just get up and run and get out. So
I'm so sorry. I can't even
and then my son's a sixth grader, and we've been texting him, but I have no idea what's going on there, but apparently they've notified all the parents of anyone who's been shot. So I'm just, gosh. But for that half hour, I was just in my car driving here, not knowing what happened, and it was, I can't imagine losing one of my kids.
Sorry. And your daughter, she's okay?
Yeah, my daughter's fine.
Have you heard? Is she at the high school?
Yeah, she's at the high school. My ex-wife is down there picking her up right now, and she lives in the addition right over here, and we're just going to meet back over here. But I need to, I don't know, I can't, my son's not responding to his text messages. I don't know if he left his phone in his locker or what's going on. Yeah, they both go to school here.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you go, get that all figured out, and we'll be thinking about you throughout the morning here, absolutely. Hey, you guys, I'm going to still try to figure out what's been going on here at the middle school, and as soon as I get some information about that, I'll get it right over to you.
Well,
okay, Brittany.
It's worth noting, too, that this whole situation is continuing to develop. There's so much information we have yet to learn. We do know the critical pieces that people, that the situation has been contained at this point, and it is at least ended at the middle school, but that means the investigation is far from over, and that's why we're going to continue to bring you more coverage as we learn it. Here is the information, if you are just joining us, that we do know, that we have confirmed from multiple sources. We know that there are two victims. There's a 13-year-old female who has been now in critical condition. We've just learned in the last 5 minutes, taken to Riley Hospital. We also know there's an adult teacher involved who just about 15 minutes ago we learned was shot as that person tried to intervene with the shooter this morning.
And so that's the information we have firm from police and from our news gathering partners at the Hamilton County Reporter. We're working to find out more. Mention those 4 scenes we have crews at right now. Also have crews here in the newsroom working to find any solid information they can. This broadcast is not going to engage in speculation, and we're seeing a lot of that on social media right now. Everyone with a theory about what happened. Very few people actually know those answers until we get confirmed information. That's not something that you'll find here. That said, Brittany Lewis is right there at the spot where this happened, West Middle School in Noblesville. Brittany, jump back in here again. Your observations.
Hi there, Scott. Yeah, for right now, as you can see, still so many squad cars out here, many police officers here at Noblesville West Middle School as part of this investigation following this shooting. In terms of people, and when I got here, there were many people kind of lining the street, but those people have kind of left as the morning has gone on. However, Patrick Tyson is here with me right now. He lives in the area. You have friends that are teachers here. Tell me how you heard about the shooting.
Well, actually, this morning I had a eye doctor appointment, and I got a text message through the appointment from my sister, and I saw a tweet saying about the situation, and the first thing I could think of is, obviously, I live literally 2 seconds away, and it's just so sad. And I have a lot of friends that teach here, and I take pride that I live in Noblesville, and it's such a safe community, and it's just an awful day.
It sure is. And what was it like for you when you pulled into the area and saw all of these squad cars here?
I mean, none of us are here used to it because we live in such a safe community, and this is not a normal day in Noblesville. And I love the fact that I can say I'm from Noblesville, and it's just so sad.
Mm-hmm. Have you had a chance to talk to any of your teacher friends?
I texted one of my friends, and all he said that he was fine. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, hoping to hear he's okay. Everyone else you know is okay as well. We appreciate you talking with us about this, and of course, certainly be thinking of you throughout the morning. In terms of anything else that's going on here at the middle school, there are police officers here kind of circling the school. They're in some sort of sport utility vehicle or I don't know, gator, I guess you would call it. There are police officers outside one of the entrances to the school. We have a state police helicopter here. We haven't seen much activity with that. That was likely something that got here as quickly as it could. For what you can't see, I've walked kind of a distance to see what I couldn't see from where I was standing. There is crime scene tape blocking off one of the entrances to the school. In that parking lot, in that part of the school, there are a couple different ambulances, other police officers as well. You can see in terms of traffic, there's not a lot of traffic that's going by the school right now. There are police officers blocking off traffic at 196 and 206 here on Hague Road. They have been letting some cars go in, but for the most part, there's not much traffic here. There is an officer there standing in front of the entrance to the school. He has obviously not been letting anybody go in there unless they are law enforcement. You can see there are squad cars here from all over central Indiana. We've seen state police squad cars. The FBI is here. The city of Carmel has a mobile command unit set up. So tons of different agencies responding to this. We haven't seen much activity in terms of officers coming and going from the school within the last 15 minutes or so. I would say that's the last time we saw anyone kind of come or go in terms of law enforcement. So it appears that the majority of the investigation here for now is inside of the school. But any new information we get about what's taking place inside of the school, we'll of course bring it to you.
Brittany Lewis reporting live at Noblesville West Middle School. Thank you so much. We do want to let you know that the press conference is starting right now. Let's listen in to State Police. Okay, it looks like maybe someone has just stepped away from the podium. Maybe that was just a briefing to say, hey, we're going to begin quite shortly. Either way, we're going to stay on this picture and let you know that we will stay on top of it. As soon as it begins, we will break into whatever is going on. It's worth noting that Kylie Conway joins us. She's been part of our coverage all morning, but Scott Sanders had to leave the desk and go to anchor some of our coverage from the memorial service, which if you're tuning in this morning, you were expecting to see the memorial coming up at noon. We are going to continue with this breaking news coverage out of Noblesville West, and we will air that coverage of the memorial service coming up tonight at 11:30 p.m.
Well, we're waiting on that news conference to start. We're watching it. We will not let you miss a moment of it. So as soon as somebody comes up to that podium to start speaking, we will go straight to it. But right now on the phone, we have Olivia Gilbert. She's 22 years old, and her mom is a teacher at Noblesville High School. Olivia, good morning. Thanks for calling in today. I understand that your mom's pretty upset right now.
Yeah, she's been texting me in about 10:20. They've been in an Alice drill. They've had the doors barricaded in their classrooms, and they have their students under their desks from a text threat that came into the high school. So she's been texting me for information, saying that they've kind of been in the dark since about 10:20, and they're waiting now for the SWAT to sweep the building.
Okay, so Olivia, tell us more about that text threat. What did your mom say about that?
She just said that there was a text threat for NHS supposed to stay quiet and keep doors barricaded.
Wow.
I'm not sure what got sent to the school, if it was even from a student or someone playing some kind of prank, but she just said that her classroom is very tense with lots of crying.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in touch with another teacher there at the high school, Olivia, and he's saying that he too is barricaded in a room waiting for police. He said, you know, I can't really talk, probably like your mom is only speaking to you right now. He's like, I'm in charge of a classroom with 60 kids here, trying to keep them safe. And right now just waiting for police to come by and tell us that it's the all clear. But right now, as you're saying, it sounds like the teachers there and the students there are acting as if this is not clear yet, although we have been told from police that it is all contained.
Yes, she says that they've been instructed for everyone to get off of the Wi-Fi, and so I'm sure they're just taking precautions, but I know everyone in there is really scared, and they're waiting for the SWAT to sweep the building, and they're not really getting any information.
You know, Olivia, I do want to tell you, so we have multiple crews giving us live pictures all morning, right? So one of the things that we're watching, that we're able to see, Kylie and I, is a picture from Noblesville High School, and we're actually watching parents who've, literally for about an hour, 2 hours, they've been crowded around the high school because, as you know, Olivia, kids are being taken there to reunite with their parents. But it looked like some of the parents were starting to walk around the school. I don't know if they'd been directed to, if there's going to be a reunion that happens soon between students and parents. But when your mom started texting you, were you able to begin getting on, television, social media, and find information for her?
I've just been using just what you guys have been putting out. I texted her when they were live in front of the high school. I said that there were police and students out there, and it didn't look like anything was going on. So the threat was probably nothing, and they were probably just taking precautions. And I was telling her that everything was calm outside of the school, and all the police and the SWAT were still there. So I was just kind of using what I was seeing to kind of calm her and then have her calm her students down.
You know, Lauren, piecing this timeline together. Olivia, stay on the phone here as we chat. But Lauren, you remember when Brittany Lewis was reporting live and all of the SWAT teams there, in the tactical gear, just took off with all that urgency. I wonder if that's when they realized that there was this text threat that came in, and they thought, oh gosh, now we have a problem at the high school where we just took all of these kids to be safe, because that was a safe place. The high school had already been on lockdown just out of a precaution before that alleged text threat came through. Again, we don't know what that said or what it could have been about, but as a situation, it's obviously a really sensitive time.
Hey, Olivia, I do want to ask you this question before we let you go. You know, we've talked about this national conversation of school shootings so many times. Have you ever had a conversation with your mom, again, who is a Noblesville High School teacher, about what she would do in one of those situations?
I just know that they've had a lot of meetings at the school with the teachers. They're shooting simulations and the Alice drills, and a while back they had the teachers do a simulation where if they had a weapon, how that would affect a situation. They did that after the Parkland shooting, and I know it just really scares her to think about what she would have to do in that situation. So
Olivia,
no matter how much you prepare for something like this, I don't think you're ever ready.
Yeah, of course. Olivia, I'm going to cut you off because it looks like we've got some people stepping to the podium here for our media briefing. Let's listen in.
My name is Bruce Barnes. I'm a lieutenant with the Noblesville Police Department, Public Information Officer. We're going to provide you with some details in regards to the incident that we had today at Noblesville West Middle School. We're going to have the Chief of Police, Kevin Jallett, speak, and Superintendent of Noblesville School Corporation, Dr. Beth Niedermeyer, speak to you. We appreciate that you're going to have questions, and likely many of those questions will go unanswered based upon the limited amount of content that we're going to provide to you today. But what's important to us right now, because this situation is still ongoing, is that we got to make sure these kids are safe. And we got to make sure that we do our job as law enforcement, as public servants within this community and surrounding communities to be able to maximize our efforts. Sometimes we have to keep that information close to us in order to ensure that our kids stay safe. And that's what we're going to do. So we will provide you with as much as we can. We will plan on meeting back here at 2 o'clock to provide you with any other additional information that we might be able to release at that time. But for now, we've got a dynamic, ongoing situation, so we'll provide you with the information that's available to us, that's available for release, and then that'll be it. So first up, Chief of Police Kevin Jallett with the Noblesville Police Department.
Good morning. My name's Kevin Jallett. I'm Chief of Police in Noblesville. At 9:06 a.m., Hamilton County Communications Center received a call of an active shooter at Noblesville West Middle School. Officers from the Noblesville Police Department, Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, Indiana State Police, and other local agencies responded immediately. The situation is contained. We have 2 victims, one an adult teacher and one a juvenile student, who have been transported to Methodist and Riley hospitals in Indianapolis, respectively. Their families have been notified and are en route to be with their loved ones. There is a male student at Noblesville West Middle School who has been detained. We believe he is the involved suspect. We have no reason to believe that there is any kind of a threat connected to this incident anywhere else. We are also, however, aware of a secondary threat that's been made at Noblesville High School. We have multiple officers and a command post established at Noblesville High School and are diligently ensuring the safety of students and staff there. We have not received any information that this has been anything other than a communicated threat. And again, we are securing Noblesville High School and taking steps to make sure that it stays secure. We do have law enforcement officers from many different agencies on the scene: the Indiana State Police, Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, Fishers Police, Westfield Police. We have agents from the FBI and ATF here assisting us. And we have just begun an investigation. Obviously, the investigation is going to be time-consuming. We're going to take it very carefully and methodically. I believe at this point the school has been completely cleared and the investigative process has just begun. I'm now going to let Dr. Beth Niedermeyer, the superintendent of the Noblesville School System, speak to you.
Which school has been cleared?
I'm sorry?
The high school or the middle school has been cleared?
Middle school.
Thank you, Chief Jowett. My name is Beth Niedermeyer, and I'm the superintendent of Noblesville Schools. I want to thank everyone for being here and for all the thoughts and prayers. Our hearts go out to everyone that's been involved in this horrific tragedy. We want to thank the teachers and the administrators, Principal Stacy Swan, for their quick actions, responding, following all of the procedures to care for the safety of our students. The collaboration between all law enforcement agencies has been tremendous, and we're so grateful that everyone was so quick to respond and help us through this tragedy. As we learn more, we'll continue to communicate as we have been with our families. Right now, parents may pick up their students at any of the schools if they choose to. We'll follow our regular procedures for that, but we will also have our regular dismissal today for those parents who are working and they want to keep their children in school, their children are safe, and we'll continue the day as planned. Thank you all for keeping us in your thoughts and prayers.
So again, we will plan to meet back here 2 o'clock. We will provide you with any additional updates. We appreciate your patience with us. We know that you have our community in your best thoughts as we move forward. So we appreciate your patience now. We ask for your prayers for the victims in this case, and I think that would include a lot of kids, not only the ones that were truly the victims in this case, but all these other kids that are trying to make sense of this situation. So we appreciate all your help. We will plan to be back here at 2 o'clock. Thank you for your time.
All right, at 11:25, that is the final statement from a news conference that started with who just ended it there, Bruce Barnes with the PIO with Noblesville Police Department. But then we did hear from Chief Kevin Jallett, who gave one piece of the information that we've really been waiting for, who the person is, or at least who they think that it is, who pulled the trigger here.
They have confirmed the information we were able to secure from our media partners or news gathering partners up in Hamilton County at the Hamilton County Reporter. I think an hour or so ago, we were able to tell you that the shooter was a male. We also knew the 13-year-old female victim was in critical condition at Riley, and then the adult teacher was also in critical condition at Methodist. It'll be interesting to learn if more information comes out from police that might confirm the other bit of information we've been able to gather about the teacher being injured because they were intervening. That is the critical piece here, a story of heroism that might develop here as we get more information.
The chief also said that the middle school is secure, completely secure, and that this text threat that went in to Noblesville High School doesn't appear to be related to this initial shooting whatsoever. So now they're really turning their attention to make sure that the high school is secure. But he said, for all intents and purposes, the sites are secure, and right now the investigation really begins.
So Drew Blair is at the alert desk now. Drew, let's talk about that text threat. What have you seen?
Well, guys, yeah, it does sound as if that situation has been secured or is in the process of that. But it was right around 11 o'clock this morning that we received confirmation that an alert did go out for Noblesville High School, and it specifically said new text threat at NHS, and they are currently on lockdown. West and NHS kids can be picked up once the school is cleared. Stand by. Again, that was at 11 o'clock. It was about 11:15 that we got word that parents, our crews at the high school, started seeing parents file into the high school building. Of course, we know that has been a location of high emotion as parents have been sent there to pick up their children. And then we hear word that the building itself had been put on lockdown, but that had been cleared enough for parents to start filing into that building. But we did have that text threat here secured. I also want to let you know that more reaction continues to pour in from across the country. We just heard from the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence, has tweeted his response to what happened in Noblesville. I'm quoting now: Karen and I are praying for the victims of the terrible shooting in Indiana. To everyone in the Noblesville community, you are on our hearts and in our prayers. Thanks for the swift response by Hoosier law enforcement and first responders. So as this investigation continues, so does the reaction, and I'll be here joining you guys from now on to bring you some of that.
You know, it is a developing story, Drew, and thank you for stepping in here with that information and that latest message from the Vice President. You know, we have heard from several elected officials, from Governor Holcomb. We've also heard from Representative Susan Brooks and Senator Joe Donnelly. I imagine we'll hear from several others as we go throughout the morning.
And throughout the days and weeks to come, of course, all these situations always spark the gun control debate and what we do from here as far as legislation or anything like that's concerned. But before that conversation even begins, of course, there's the acute investigation that needs to happen. Elizabeth Choi is live outside the news conference that just happened. Elizabeth, I didn't hear anything about what type of gun that they think the shooter would have used or anything in that nature, but what can you tell us right now?
Well, I can tell you the public information officer for the Noblesville Police Department spoke, and he said the information, the content that they're going to give out at this time is limited. So to answer your question about the type of gun, that is information that they're not willing to release at this time. They say that it's all because of the safety of the children. So they're going to keep that information close to them to keep those children protected. They have scheduled a 2 o'clock media briefing. They're not sure what new information information they'll be able to release at that time, but they did say that there's a 2 o'clock media briefing scheduled. We heard from the Noblesville police chief, who said that they got a call just after 9 o'clock this morning of an active shooter situation at the middle school. When they received that call, law enforcement agencies from multiple departments responded. I'm talking about state police, police from all over Hamilton County, including Carmel, Fishers, as well as Noblesville. 2 victims, as we've reported, one being a teacher who sort of stepped in the way to protect the students, another being a student. Those victims were rushed, one to Methodist Hospital and the child to Riley Hospital. They did say that they detained a male middle school student in connection with all of this, so they do have their suspect in custody. They wanted to make the public aware that there are no known threats at this time, although earlier there was some kind of verbal threat that was made to the high school. They say that they have the situation contained, and that threat to the high school was nothing more than a verbal threat. Again, local, state, federal law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, all involved in this investigation at this time. The middle school has been cleared at this time, and according to the police chief, the investigation is now beginning. The superintendent, she also spoke to the group and called this a horrific tragedy. She wanted to thank the teachers for their quick response in protecting the children. And she also said that parents are able to pick their kids up at any time during the day. Of course, they're going to be following regular pickup procedures. And if you're a parent, you're working, you're not able to pick up your child, she said that's okay. They'll have regular dismissal at the end of the school day. But again, 2 o'clock, we're expected to have another media briefing with law enforcement as well as that school superintendent. And at this time, they're simply asking the community for their thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, and that Superintendent Dr. Bethany Niedermeyer, as Elizabeth said, students can stay at the school, but if parents want to pick their child up, they can do that right now.
Absolutely. So again, the middle school students, they are going to be at the high school. We've seen throngs of parents just gathered at the high school, which is where one of our live crews has been for a while now. Brenna, I think you arrived there about 10 o'clock this morning. You've been talking with people ever since. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, that's exactly right. The situation, I can tell you, has calmed down here. When we first arrived, as you said, around 10 o'clock, there were parents running across the lawn, cars pulling into the grassy areas, and parents running, crying up to the school. At this point, we have seen a calming effect on these parents as correct information has been disseminated. We did see lines of parents moving around the front of the school. They were walking north in almost single file line. I don't know if they entered the building, but they did walk almost the length of the front of the school. You can still see there are parents waiting. I haven't seen a huge, influx of cars leaving. It doesn't appear that the students have been released to these parents, but they are all standing here waiting and, of course, worried, but grateful to know that the information that they've received from Noblesville Schools and Indiana State Police has been confirmed. I want to let you know what I know about the threat that was mentioned here, a text threat to Noblesville High School. This is what I've learned from people just as I've spoken to them. Now, I spoke to a young man who's connected on social media with lots of the students, and he told me he's had reports flying of a shooter here or of another active shooter situation, and I was grateful to learn that that is false, that there was a threat, but the police have not confirmed any gunfire or any kind of shots fired here. The threat, however, was reported here at Noblesville High School, and it looks like Noblesville Schools was able to react quickly. Some of the parents I spoke with told me they had gone up to the front of the high school and then were asked to go back to their cars. They said that the school may be under a code red or code blue, and they were asked to go back to their cars and wait until they were allowed to come pick up their students. At this point, I have not seen parents inside cars. They've been filtering back out of their cars up to the school. So it would appear that threat has been unfounded or has not caused any more panic or concern. And as I said, it's a calmer situation here than I've seen in the last hour. There are young children here as well. I've seen strollers and other young children who have come with their parents, and the parents are just waiting outside in the sun today. I will let you know that a Fishers Fire Department ambulance did just come up and pull up in front of the school. I don't know if there was a situation with one of the parents or with somebody who's been standing outside in the heat, but a Fishers Fire Department ambulance did just pull up to the front of Noblesville High School. It had its lights on and sirens going. We can see it right there, but obviously we're not close enough to see exactly what's happening. But as we've seen parents come in, they've gone from crying and emotional and shocked and fearful to calm and just ready to get their kids home. Parents I've spoken to via text as well that I know here in Noblesville say this is absolutely shocking, and they're grateful that it wasn't worse, that they're hopeful that the two in critical condition will recover. They'll take their babies home with them and spend a weekend quietly here in Noblesville. That's what I have for you guys. Back to you.
Yes, Brenna, thank you. And a moment ago, as you were speaking, it did look like I saw a woman, maybe a mom, passing out some of the waters that you talked about earlier. She had mentioned that that there were people that had just shown up to the scene and tried to pass out waters to some of those emergency responders. Looks like that man might have had a bag of some of those water bottles as well in his hand. So, you know, in these situations, people try to do what they can do. Mm-hmm. And if that's bring somebody water, then they're going to do it.
Yeah, anything helps at this point. Drew Blair is here at the alert desk, and Drew, I understand you have some new information for us.
Yes, possibly some insight, Kylie, as to what Brenna is referring to in the situation at the high school itself, why the parents are still outside, why students have not been brought out to them. I'm understanding this is from a person closely associated with the high school, that they have now been downgraded to what's called a code yellow at the high school. Now, the exact association of what that is based on each individual school, I do not know, but I'm told that counselors have now been freed to go help kids within the school. So that is one way in which the situation has calmed, that they have gone to a code yellow. I also have a new witness account from a student at the high school who tells News 8 that she saw two students being taken by police away from the building. We don't know if those students have been arrested, if they're in custody, but they were taken away from the building. Two students. Again, that's a witness account from a high school student.
Okay, Drew, thanks for that. New information coming all the time. Of course, you can break in any moment you find out anything new in those regards.